Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is time for my April reading wrap up, all the books that I read in April. In April, I read 13 books, I believe. Let me just double check really quick. I was wrong. I read 12 books. I read 12 books in April. I was working on the 13th. I will show you that. And off of my physical TBR, I read 3 books and I started the 4th. The 4th book is Finale. I'm about 1/3 of the way through it. I don't see it over here, so it's probably somewhere else in my house, which is totally okay. But I did start that one, so I got, I would say, about half of my monthly TBR read. And this month, I'm just going to go through the books as I have them. Last month, I tried to do in the order that I read them, and as I had done in previous months, and it just was not sustainable with the number of books that I had read. So I'm just going to rapid fire go through all of the books that I read, all the audiobooks that I listened to, as well as I've been reading a lot more on my Kindle, which I got for my birthday this year. Excuse me. And I've been really enjoying reading ebooks. So without further ado, let's get started. We'll start with my physical books, then we'll go into my ebooks and audiobooks. So the first physical book that I read that I don't have here because I returned it already to my sister, so I'll pop a picture up here, was Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. She borrowed that book to me, and then I saw her at the beginning of April, so I returned it to her because I finally finished that one. I started it in March. I didn't really get into that one that much. It took me a good probably half of the book to really get into it and really start connecting with the characters, unlike some of the other books that I've read by Ali Hazelwood. And then I don't know if you can see it, but way at the top there, my sister did borrow me the rest of the Ali Hazelwood books that she owns. So I will be reading those hopefully in the next month so I can return them to her the next time I see her. The next physical book that I read, and like I said, I'm not doing this in any specific order. So another physical book that I read was Einstein's Dreams. This was a nice short one. I was able to read it, I believe, in 2 days or a day. But it was a nice book to read. I had something I needed to supervise, but didn't really need a lot of my attention. So I brought this book along. It was really easy to throw in my bag. I enjoyed it. It had been on my TBR list for a very long time, and I ended up purchasing it in February, I believe, when I got the new Crescent City book. So I guess January, end of January, beginning of February. So that one I enjoyed, and it's now off of my TBR and my TBR list. Another book that I started in March and finished in April was At the Water's Edge by Sarah Gruen. I always enjoy her books. Her favorite book of mine is actually Ape House. And I've read a couple other of hers. I know I've read Water for Elephants, but I really enjoyed the setting of this one. The setting takes place in the Scottish Highlands, and there's part of the story is searching for the Loch Ness Monster, so that was really enjoyable and just something a little bit different from what I normally read. Another book, physical book that I read was The Call of the Wild. This is a book that I picked up for free. It wasn't as good as I was hoping that it would be, and this is a book that now that I've read it, I'm going to declutter it to someone else because I got it for free and it's not one that I really want to add to my collection. These next 2 books physical books that I have are also borrowed books that I can now return because they are off of my physical TBR. The first one we'll talk about is Plato and a Platypus Walk into a Bar, Understanding Philosophy Through Jokes. This was okay. I wanted more from it, and it was just not quite my cup of tea, but I'm glad I read it and got it off of my TBR, and now I can return it to the person that it belongs to. And then the final physical book that I read in the month of April was Tom Lake. This book took me a really long time to get into. I think it took me to about page like 165 to really start like connecting and caring about the characters. It was definitely like a really slow read for me. It's a literary fiction. It falls into the same category as me as The Latecomer. It was enjoyable. I liked the storyline. It was wrapped up really well at the end. But it took me a really long time to get into, and I had to really power through at the end of April to finish up this book. But now I am so glad that it is off my TBR and that I have read it, and that I can move on to other books that I might be a little bit more excited about. Now we will turn to my handy dandy bullet journal bookshelf to go through the rest of my books. So I think I will do ebooks next, and then I will do audiobooks last. So the first ebook that I finished in April was Friends in Napa. I was, I think, about halfway through it at the end of March when I did my March wrap up. That one I did not like. It spent most of the book of just people complaining about other people, and it just was not for me. And it was marketed like it was going to be a mystery, and there was really no mystery at all. I think I rated it like a 1 or 2, probably not a 1. I think I rated it 2 on Goodreads because it just was not for me. The next ebook that I read was The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. I absolutely loved it. I read it so fast. It reminds me of the 100 Oaks series that I read as a teenager, but just more grown up. So it's a sports romance. I absolutely love sports romances. This is something I loved when I was a teenager, something I still love now, and this book really rekindled that for me. And then I found out that it's actually a spin-off series from an original series, the Off Campus series, so I ended up starting that one, and I read the first book in April, which was The Deal. I'm currently reading the second book in that series, and then the Briar U series, so the second book for The Graham Effect, comes out some point this year, I think this summer, but I'm going to definitely pick that one up in an ebook format when it comes out, so I can continue that series because I really enjoyed it. Now, finally, we have 3 audiobooks that I finished in the month of April. I finished Mountains Made of Glass, which was a Scarlett St. Clair like novella. That one was okay. I just felt like because it was so short, there wasn't very much storyline. It definitely was just smutty for the sake of being smutty. I'll probably give the next book a try. It comes out this year, so I'll give it a try and see if it's a series I do want to continue with. And I did wrap up a series in April. I was hoping to wrap up 2 with finale, but I just didn't get to the end of that one. I finished the audiobook for A Touch of Chaos, which was the 4th and final book in the Hades and Persephone series. And then one of my friends told me that I needed to, there's a companion series to that told from Hades' point of view, so I definitely need to at some point read those. I think I'll give myself a little bit of time and then dive into that. And the final audiobook that I finished was, again, continuing another series because I really want to get through the series that I started or have started and just kind of dwindle. The series I'm in the middle of was Predator's Gold, which is the 2nd book in the Mortal Engines series. I actually liked this book more than the previous book, the Mortal Engines one, and I currently have the 3rd audiobook. However, I have not started listening to that yet because my hold for Outlander became available, and that is a 33-hour audiobook, and I am currently 8 hours into it, so I'm hoping within like the next week I can finish that up. I've been listening to it every day on my commute, and I listen to audiobooks at 1.5 speed right now, so I'm really enjoying it as an audiobook. I did try starting to read it once previously, however, I just couldn't get into it, but the audiobook is so much more of like storytelling voice, and I'm really enjoying it that way. So that is all of the books that I read in April, plus a few little bonus snippets that you'll hear about in May for the books I'm currently wrapping up. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!